welcome back. It's a new year, which means there is plenty of knitting to be done. So in this video I'm going to share with you the things I'm looking forward to knitting in spring 2025 and also my learnings in my first year of knitting in 2024. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and let's dive on in. So the first pattern that I am going to share with you is something I did start working on in 2024, so slight disclaimer there, but I didn't finish it, so it's going to be the first thing I finish in 2025, and that is the Amelia Vest from Hobby, and that was in partnership with Pom Pom, which is a US knitting magazine, I believe. And it is the loveliest design. It is made in one flat piece, and you work the front and the back, the lower halves first, and then you separate out the front and the front panels, and then you work up the back, and then you work on the right side and then the left side, join it up, and then do the ribbing all the way around. The stitch itself is super beginner friendly because you actually only need to know how to knit because it is a slip stitch pattern. I do have a video on my channel which I'll link above and below, so if you are interested in learning how to do that stitch, you can learn. It is maybe more of a beginner intermediate pattern just because of how you've got to separate everything out and do the decreases, but it's been really good fun so far to make. So much so that I've actually bought yarn to make another colour variation of it. I am so pleased. I'm really sad that I have to drag it into 2025, but it'll be a really great one to finish and wear throughout spring. The next pattern is from Sashiko Burgin, and it is using the same yarn as the vest from Hobby, which is the garland yarn. I have so much of it because I just love it. It is the softest yarn on the planet. Obsessed. It's 70% cotton and 30% alpaca, and it's just like the perfect blend. But the pattern, which is why you're here, is a beret, literally spelled as Bowret, which is very clever, and it is a lovely beret design with an optional bow I-cord, and I'm really looking forward to knitting it. It does have a child size, so if you want to make one for your mini-me, and it's also got 2 adult sizes, so if you have a small head or a big head, there is something for everyone. What's really interesting is actually an option to add elastic, which I am going to try and do when I get around to making it, just so I can try and upskill my knitting experience, because I would love to be able to make skirts with an elastic waistband that are knitted. So I am really looking forward to diving into that. I will pop a link for all the patterns down below. This one is on Ravelry, the other one is on the Hobby website that I mentioned earlier. I saw this on Instagram. I find that is the place that I seem to find all these great patterns, including the next one. So the next one, I feel like this is a fairly well-known designer in terms of the really unique colour work designs, and that is Andrea Rangel, and this is the catnip pullover. Forever ago, I saw a design of hers that people were test knitting, which was a fish design, sort of like yoke pattern colour work, which I did actually initially think was cats, but turns out it was fish, and lo and behold, she's come up with a cat design, which makes me very happy as the cat obsessed lady that I am. And it is the most beautiful design. It is just adorable. I feel like I could just make it in like a million different colours and just wear that forever. It is made in a top-down design, and then you go back in and do the ribbing around the neck and I think it was a elasticated bind off on the cuffs, which for me, it definitely is maybe more of a harder challenge of a construction, and in terms of actually trying to do colour work that's a bit more intricate. I think it will definitely test my patience, but also advance me quite significantly as a knitter doing this pattern. So I'm really looking forward to knitting that. I just need to pick some yarn and the colours that I'm going to do it in. If you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments, because yeah, I will wear every single colour there is, but I just want a really fun combination, like maybe pink and green or something, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I feel this leads on quite nicely to sort of my learnings as a knitter in the first year of knitting, and 2024 was a funny one. I feel like because it was when I started focusing on doing knitting on YouTube that I sort of panic knitted, and I was trying to do so many things that just didn't get finished. Because I wanted to film content. So that is the reason why there's only 3 patterns for the first couple of months of 2025, because I just feel like I need to enjoy what I'm knitting rather than just like going absolutely nuts and trying to churn out things and never finishing them, which leads on to the next learning, which I think maybe it's more of a personality type knitting related issue. I can't be the only one, I don't think. I just can't make things that require multiple pieces. Which I know there are ways around this, like obviously the vest that I mentioned that I've started knitting, it is done in one piece. I think that is just the way I need to go in terms of my knitting experience. I hate stitching things up. It is the most tedious task ever, and it's like you've knitted everything and you're like, well, I can't wear it yet because I've got to stitch it all up, and it takes forever, and then it never quite looks right. And maybe that's a practice thing and a patience thing, but I don't have either the time or the patience for it. So I think that is one thing for me, is that I am definitely going to start branching out and look for patterns that are made in one piece. So even if that's like picking up the stitches for doing the necklines and the arms, which that pattern, which is the cat knit pullover, is like that you are picking up stitches, which is very handy because obviously a lot of things do have ribbing that you have to then pick up the stitches and go around, like the vest that I'm in the middle of making. So I feel like there's a good combination of skills that I'm going to learn that will hopefully make this whole concept of trying to knit things in one piece a bit easier. My brain's not very mathematical, mouthful to say, very mathematical. So I think it is definitely one of those things that I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and just try and get my brain into knitting things as a one whole piece, which I think will really help me in terms of learning how to construct my own garments, because that's what I do want to end up doing in the end, is being able to actually design my own patterns. So yeah, that's definitely one thing, is that patience is a virtue that I don't have. So that is definitely maybe the biggest thing I think I'm going to see throughout 2025, is just sort of a move away of things that require multiple pattern pieces to then all-in-one garments, we'll call it. So that's definitely a big thing for me. Maybe more of a final thought. I want to experiment more with the type of stitches that I'm doing. I've definitely branched out a lot more from just doing ribbing and garter stitch and stockinette stitch, that I've started doing slip stitch designs and things, but I am really keen to try cabling. So I have some lovely needles from Addy, and I do have some smaller cable needles somewhere. I am not going to trudge through my vase of knitting needles to try and find them for the purpose of this video. But I'm really keen to try cabling, even though I think I'm more of an impatient knitter, and actually having to continuously follow a pattern for the design is going to be a challenge, and that will go for the colour work as well. I just want to be able to give things a go and see how it goes. Some things will go wrong and some things will go right and then go wrong. So I'm really keen to just try and branch out a bit more in terms of the stitches that I'm using, and that also includes how I cast on and how I cast off. There's definitely so many more creative ways than the long tail cast on, which I am a sucker for because it is easy, and casting off in the most generic way possible. I definitely want to start considering how I can create more unique garments and more wearable garments as well, just because like different cast offs have a cleaner or elasticated finish. So I think there's definitely a lot I can learn this year, and I'm really looking forward to being able to share that with you all. So if you like this video and want to sort of stay in tune with my knitting journey experience, I'm gonna try and do a bit more sit down talky videos. I find that I just don't have the time, or other people are in the house, and Rocket and Luna love to butt in, which they haven't, which is quite a surprise, but I'm sure at some point, if I can get some knitting patterns that I can squeeze them into, I will definitely be filming that. Oh, speak of the devil, there's one of them. Tina says hello, which was maybe more of a goodbye because that's the end of this video, but I definitely think this year is going to be a good year, and I hope it is a great one for you as well. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!